Hello everyone, I welcome everyone to this new video. In this video, we'll talk about 42nd Constitutional Amendment, schedules of our Constitution, introduction to Part 3, that is Fundamental Rights. Next, Right to Equality, Article 14 to Article 18. Now understand one thing. We are moving towards the core polity part. Okay, yesterday I talked about this history, introduction, and all these things. Okay, but now onwards we will talk about technicalities. Okay, as you already know, the subject polity, Indian polity, constitution, it is very technical in nature. Okay, there are catch or in words, in statements. Okay, so we have to look into these things very carefully. As we are preparing for this combined 3 examination, the syllabus for this examination is very narrow, okay, and very less. So there are some concepts, okay. To understand this concept, you should have some background knowledge, okay, previous knowledge. But that previous or background knowledge, that is not important for your combined 3 examination. So what should we do? How should we approach? So in my opinion, I will discuss only the things which are important for combined examination. But to explain this concept, I also have to discuss some previous or background things. It is necessary, otherwise you will not understand the things. You will feel void. So those things I will explain, but I will not write in the board. Okay. So the things I will write in the board, those will be important for your combined 3 examination. So you will make notes of that only, the things that will be written on the board, and the things that I will say in words, not I will not write anything. You will just listen and you will just understand. Okay. So this way I will do it, and this way we are gonna approach this subject. So let's get started. Okay. First of all, I want to talk about one thing. Yesterday, when I talked about preamble, that time I mentioned so far preamble has been amended only once. That is 42 constitutional amendment. Okay. So now today I want to explain one thing, that in 42 constitutional amendment what was added or deleted, or what was actually had, what is there in 42nd constitutional amendment. Okay, so just add this thing where you have written that preamble notes. Okay, 42nd constitutional amendment. Here the term socialist, secular, and integrity was added to the preamble. See, these two terms, socialist and secular, and integrity was added to the preamble. So total how many words they have added? 3 words. Now, in which position? Okay, what is the position? Now understand one thing. Socialist and secular were added between sovereign and democratic. So this socialist thing and secular thing were added between sovereign and democratic. Okay, see here, sovereign and socialist thing, so sovereign and secular, okay, things added between extremely sorry, socialist and secular. These two words were added between sovereign and democratic. Clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now, another thing, unity of the nation was changed to unity and integrity of the nation. Earlier it was unity of the nation, okay, and now it has been changed to what? Changed to unity and integrity of the nation, okay. Like here you can see, to republic and to secure all its citizen, okay. So basically, in preamble, in 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, in that Constitutional Amendment Act, the term socialist and secular were added between sovereign and democratic. Okay, these two things you should know. It can be asked in the examination. Now, we will talk about schedules of our constitution. Okay. See, as I already told you, I will discuss many things, okay? But I will write those things which are only important for combined 3. So you will make notes that will be written on the board. The things that I will say, you will just listen, okay? You will not make any notes because these are not important for combined 3 examination, okay? Make it clear. Next is schedules of constitution. Okay. See, there is some facts. Original constitution has had 8 schedules, okay, and at present there are 12 schedules, okay. So you should know this fact. Now we'll talk about this thing. I will also discuss the short trick to remember this, but later on when I will be done with the schedules, okay. First, number 1, first schedule. What is the first schedule? It talks about the names of the states and UTs, okay. It contains article 1 to 4, that is part 1, okay, the union and its territories, okay. So this is the first schedule. In second schedule, it is the provision related to emoluments, allowances, privileges of constitutional authorities. Now, who are those constitutional authorities? They are President, Governor, judges of Supreme Court, High Court, CAG, Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So in the second schedule, the provisions related to allowances, emoluments, privileges of the constitutional authorities has been given. Now who are those constitutional authorities? They are President, Governor, Judges of Supreme Court, High Court, CAG, Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Next, 3. In third schedule, we will talk about, it talks about forms of oath or affirmations of union ministers. Okay, MPs, judges, CAG and others. Okay, next, in fourth schedule, it is about allocation of seats of Rajya Sabha to the states and UTs. Okay, it will deal with the article 4 to article 80. Okay, next, article 5, fifth schedule. In fifth schedule, it talks about the provisions related to administration of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. Okay, article 244. Next, sixth schedule. This is very important in our exam point of view. So you should definitely learn this. Here, provisions related to administration of tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. How to remember? AM, Assam and Meghalaya, TM, Tripura and Mizoram. And in Assam, what are the different places comes under sixth schedule? For example, Bodoland Territorial Authority, in Tripura TTADC, from Meghalaya there are things. So in my first Northeast current affair video, in that video I have discussed about the different 6 schedule areas of these 4 states. Okay, next, 7th schedule. Here it talks about divisions of power between union list, state list and concurrent list. As you all know that in our constitution there are three types of list: union list, state list and concurrent list. In union list, the things that are mentioned in union list, uh, only the central government is authorized to make laws. And in the state list, the things that are mentioned for in state list, in that things only state government can make laws. And there are some things like concurrent list. In the things that are mentioned in concurrent list, in that matters, in that subjects, both union government and state government, they both can make laws. Okay, for example, the example of concurrent list is health, education. Okay, like you can see, for example, in your state there are district hospitals made by state government. Also there are AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science. It is made by central government. So health, education you can see state central government also make schools like JNVs, KVs. Okay, in state government also there are state government schools. Okay, so this is concurrent list. Next is eighth schedule. In eighth schedule, it talks about the languages. Languages recognized by constitution. Okay, originally 14 languages were there. Okay, now it is 23. Okay, so what are those 23 languages? You should not remember each and every language. Okay, you should know the important one. Okay, now I'll tell you how to remember, how to identify the important one. Okay, see, Sindhi was added by 21st Amendment 1967. So when originally there were 14 language, the first language that was added by amendment, that language is Sindhi. Okay, and what is the name of that amendment? 21st Amendment. The language is Sindhi. Okay, next, Kokani, Manipuri, Nepali, these three languages were added by 75 Amendment 1992. 75 Amendment 1992. Okay, so this 14 language, Sindhi 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, next, Bodo, Dongri, Dogri, Dogri, Nepali, sorry, not Nepali, Maithili, Santhali were added by 92nd Amendment Act 2003. So 18th, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, and there will be another one. Okay, that is there is another one. I think I am doing some calculation mistake. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, you just remember these things. Sindhi was added by 21st Amendment Act. Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali were added by 71st Amendment Act 1992. Bodo, Dogri, Maithili, Santhali were added by 92nd Amendment Act 2003. That's it. Okay. Next, ninth schedule. In ninth schedule, it is about First Amendment. You should remember, it is very important. In exam, they have already asked what is First Amendment. Okay, so by First Amendment, ninth schedule was added to the Constitution. Okay, First Amendment to the Constitution. Okay, to exclude laws from judicial scrutiny. Okay, First Amendment Act 1951 were added the ninth schedule to protect the laws. Okay, protect the laws, include in it from judicial scrutiny on the ground of violation of fundamental rights. You should not remember this thing. Just by ninth schedule, by First Amendment, ninth schedule was added to the Constitution. Okay. Now 10th schedule. It contains provision related to disqualification of members of parliament and state legislature on the ground of defection. Okay, there is a very good concept of defection, so I will not go into this concept. If you are interested, Google it. Okay, because this is not important for your exam. So what is the 10th schedule? 10th schedule is about disqualification of MP and MLAs of state legislature. Okay, on the ground of defection. It is about 10th schedule. Okay, this schedule was added. 10th schedule was added by 52nd Amendment Act 1985. It is also known as this amendment. Okay, not this. Anti-defection law. Next, 11th schedule. Here, it contains the provisions that specify the powers. What? Powers, authority, and responsibilities responsibilities of panchayat. Okay, this is very important for your exam point of view. That's 6th schedule and now 11th schedule. So it basically contains provisions related to powers, authority and responsibilities of panchayats. Okay, it has 29 matters. Okay, this is very important because this is PYQ. Already it has been asked in combined 1 and combined 2 examination. Okay, so this schedule was added, this 11th schedule was added by 73rd Amendment Act 1992. Okay, this is also very important. What is 73rd Amendment and what is 74th Amendment Act? Okay, I will also discuss these two separately when I will be dealing with the panchayat. Okay, now you should remember this thing only. 11th schedule is it determines the power, authority and responsibilities of panchayat. It has 29 matters and it was added by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. That's it. Next, 12th schedule. What is this about? It deals with the provision that specify the powers, authority and responsibility of municipalities. Okay, it has 18 matters. In combined 1 examination, this 29 matter thing was asked. I feel this time they will ask this question. So this is very important. Okay, it has 18 matters. This was added by 74th Amendment Act 1992. Don't worry, these two I will explain separately in detail when I will be dealing with Panchayati Raj. Okay, so this was all about schedule of India. Now there is a trick to remember. Okay, now in exam they will ask schedule areas are comes under which schedule of India. So it comes under 6th schedule. So how to remember this? There is a mnemonics. Okay, what is that? Tiers of old PM. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, now T for territories, E for emoluments. Okay, number 3, A for affirmations. Okay, 4, R for Rajya Sabha. 5th is schedule areas. 6th is other, O for other schedule areas. 7th is F for federal structure. Okay, 8 for official language. 9th for L is land reform. 10th is defection. 11th is panchayat. 12th is municipalities. Now see, in the schedule 1 I have talked about the names and states of the union territories. So basically it talks about the territories. So that is why TRT here it deals with the first schedule deals with the territories. Number 2 schedule I discuss provision related to the emoluments, allowances, privileges of constitutional authorities, for example president, governor, judge, okay, etc. So this is related to emoluments, okay, you will remember by this. Next is third schedule I discussed about, it is the form of oaths, okay, oaths or affirmations of union minister, MPs, judges, CAG or others. Fifth I talked about the allocation of seats to the Rajya Sabha. So this is the Rajya Sabha. Fifth I talked about the schedule areas and scheduled tribes. And other schedule areas, that is sixth schedule comes under AMTM. This is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Seventh schedule is related to federal structure. Federal structure means it talks about division of power between union lists and state list and concurrent list. See, federal form of democracy, federal structure means there is a central government, there is a state government, and there is a correlation with both of them. So where these two things, central government and state government, comes together to rule a country, that is called a federal structure. So seventh schedule is related to the federal structure, that is it talk about union list, state list and concurrent list. Next is official language, as I already told, 8th schedule official language. Ninth is it talked about first amendment, and in the first amendment it was land reform, okay. First when the constitution was made, that time the right to property was a fundamental right, okay. So that it actually changed, okay. So ninth schedule was added as a land reform. Next 10th I already told, anti-defection law, okay. 11th is they talk about panchayat, and in panchayat there are 29 matters total, this is important. And in municipality there are 18 matters, okay. So these are also important, okay. So this was all about schedule so of constitution. So you should remember this, okay, mnemonic, then you will easily recall in the examination. You can also take the screenshot. Now I will be talk about fundamental rights, okay. Okay, now to understand these fundamental rights you should know some background, okay, where it is coming, like what is the need of this fundamental right, is it really needed, okay. Now understand one thing, for a very long period of time Indian society was characterized by a discrimination and exploitation, okay. Earlier it was like varna system, okay, in ancient India, and then it was carry forwarded to medieval India, then modern India. During British rule people were not given basic human rights also, okay. But seeing all these things, like things in ancient India, medieval India and in modern India, all these things, our constitutional forefathers realized that significance of fundamental rights, okay. The fundamental rights can only protect and promote the democratic norms and tradition, okay. So that is why our constitutional forefathers thought about this fundamental right thing, okay. Now understand one more thing, something you need to know, that the essence of democracy, what is democracy, okay. The main essence of democracy is the sovereignty of citizen. Okay, the citizen must have the right to lead their life on their own without any restriction or limitation or anything. So to lead that life of people with dignity, okay, there has to some protection, there has to be some protection. So they can do so only when they are guaranteed certain rights. Okay, so citizen, we the people can enjoy, can lead that life only if they are guaranteed certain rights. Understood what is the basic of right, why right is needed. Now what is right? Right is nothing. Right can be defined as rights may be defined as reasonable claims of people recognized by society and sanctioned by law. So what is right? Right is nothing but some reasonable claims by the people. Okay, and those claims are recognized by the society where the people lives, and also by the law of the land. Okay, now see, there are few things, but those are not important for you in the examination. So you don't have to remember this, you don't have to remember this definition or the thing that I will talk now. This is for you to get an idea. Okay, see, rights. Okay, rights can be of different types. For example, natural right. These are not important, no need to write, just listen. Natural right. What is natural right? By the term also only you can understand. Natural rights are the rights that are available to the people by their birth, by their virtue of birth. Okay, they are given by nature or god. For example, right to life. Okay, next type of right is human right. These are kind of right which are considered essential to human dignity and well-being. Okay, they are plural, universal, means to lead a dignified life a human being should be given some human right. Okay, for example, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, okay, right to education, etc. These are all human right. Another one is legal right. Okay, what is legal right? Sorry, that time I nothing. Legal right are those rights that are conferred by the legislature. Okay, and that are given to any citizen or people by the constitution, by the law of the land. Okay, for example, RTI Act, Right to Property Act, etc. Next, constitutional right. These are rights that are enshrined, mentioned in the constitution. Okay, if the constitutional rights are violated, citizen can approach to the judiciary. Okay, next is civil right, political right, fundamental right. Okay, so basically there are different types of right. Okay, that we enjoy as a civilian. So there is a kind of right that is called fundamental right. So that is the so this fundamental right we will going to discuss now. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights comes under part 3 of the constitution, that is from article 12 to article 35. Okay, so first you should know some important features of fundamental right. Features of fundamental right. Again, this is not important for your exam, but you should know to understand these article 12, 13, 14, 15, etc. That is why I am explaining this. You just understand this, that will be enough for you. What is feature of what are the important features of fundamental rights? Fundamental right promotes constitutional democracy. Fundamental rights are called fundamental because they are fundamental to the existence of human being. If human beings are there, they should have some fundamental rights. These are very interrelated thing. They are very fundamental to the existence. Okay. Fundamental rights are absolute. The state can impose reasonable restriction time to time. There are situations we will talk. Okay. You should also remember all these fundamental rights are available against arbitrary action of the state. Means if government violates any government try to snatch your right, you can approach to the judiciary. Okay. Fundamental rights are not permanent. Okay. There are restrictions, there are reasonable restrictions. Okay. And also in yesterday I all discussed about one thing, the concept of basic structure. Okay, in Keshwanand Bharati case 1973, Supreme Court has come out with a concept called basic structure. In basic structure thing, what is basic structure? Our constitution, there are some features that comes under basic structure. In that some features also, it is also fundamental rights. So basically you cannot amend these fundamental rights, basic structure of the constitution. Okay. Next, of course you can amend, but in a positive way. You cannot reduce them. Okay. Next, fundamental rights do not apply to certain institutions. Remember this. This is very exception. Like army, paramilitary forces, intelligence officer, IB, RAW, RNW, etc. So fundamental rights are fundamental rights are for citizens. Okay, there are some exceptions. For example, army, paramilitary forces, intelligence agencies, etc. So these were some features of fundamental rights. These are not important for your exam. That's why I have not written. Okay. Now, see, fundamental rights are inspired from which constitution? Yesterday only I discussed. Write in the comment section which constitution. Okay. Fundamental rights are inspired from which constitution, means which country I am asking. Okay. Now, fundamental rights are categorized into following groups. Now what are those groups? These are right to equality, that is from article 14 to 18. Okay. Next, a right to freedom, that is from article 19 to 22. Next is right against exploitation, that is from article 23 and 24. Next is right to freedom of religion, that is from article 25 to 28. Next is cultural and educational rights, that is from article 29 to 30. Next is right to constitutional remedies, that is from article 32. Okay, so these are the different categories or groups of fundamental rights. Okay, see, in accordance with the combined 3 examination, there are many things in this. Okay, but we cannot read all this everything because we have very less amount of time. So within this very less amount of time, analyzing previous year question, we will study only the important portions, only the important definitions. Okay, so that was all for today. Tomorrow I will talk about right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, that is up to article 24. In the next video I will talk about article 28 to 32. Okay, so this was for all today. Thank you everyone. I really want to appreciate everyone, those who have liked the videos, also subscribe them. Thank you everyone.